Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Board Games Unlocked, and Mike and I are meeting once again to do another sexy top 10. This time, we're talking about top 10 boss battlers. Which, if you watched our other video that we did together, it was campaign games, which, I mean, almost, well, I guess not a lot of them. A few of them had some boss battling in it. This list is a long time coming. It's a genre that I'm extremely happy to exist because it was dominated by one particular game for many, many years. And competition is always healthy. So here we are talking about our top 10 favorite ones. And there's even more to come. Like, it doesn't seem to be a genre that's going away anytime soon. So, Mike, what is a boss battler to you? Because you're the one who gave the definition that I pretty much agreed on.
Yeah, I mean, I actually did a combo of Patreon videos like 3 years ago or something, where I did one list of what I called KDM style boss battlers, and then another list of like the other boss battlers, because I think they do kind of diverge in several ways. My list is a combination of both, the one that we're going to share today, and I think yours probably is too. But yeah, the things that I sort of kind of the constraints for a boss battler for me is the boss has to always be out and attackable. There's a lot of games, like a whole subsection of games like dungeon crawlers and things, where you got to like do a whole bunch of stuff with the boss in the shadows, and then like eventually they come out. An example being Cthulhu Death May Die.
Right.
I wouldn't personally consider that to be a boss battler fully. The boss is affecting things throughout the entire game. Like you have mythos cards that are key to the boss. You have monsters that are key to the boss. But like often, if a game of Cthulhu Death May Die is an hour long, often you'll kill the boss in 7 minutes of that hour. You know what I mean? Like, right. Because it's so quick to take him down. So yeah, so the boss is available to kill. Like they might have minions. I think that is, sort of a gray area that can count. But you can attack the boss. Also, for me, a boss battler is defined partially by the bosses being a major source of variety. So, like, the bosses have special ways they activate, or like special decks or special powers. So the game changes quite a bit depending on which boss you play. And like a good boss battler should have a nice variety. Often there'll be campaign games. Often they'll have parties of adventurers and like special characters and special abilities, of course. But yeah, I think like a boss that you're always fighting, the main goal of the game is to defeat that boss, and the boss is extremely varied. That's kind of what I defined. I mean, so here, just to name a few other ones that were like games that I love, but I wouldn't quite count on the list. Small Time Heroes and Slay the Spire. They culminate in boss battles, and even Small Time Heroes, you have the boss has like a minion side where they are doing stuff and taking actions every round, but you can't hit the boss, and they don't really exist in a tangible way until the end of the game.
Yeah.
Unstoppable, my number one game of last year, it does have scenarios that are boss based, but you literally never fight the boss. You just kill minions, and every time you kill a minion, that hurts the boss, which I think takes away a lot of its.
That's a good one. I might have been convinced that was a boss battler, but you're right.
I mean, I think it's right on the edge. I think it's right on the
edge. That's a good.
It definitely has the thing about like variety coming from the boss, or in this case, like one of them is like a narrative scenario.
Yeah.
And then also, what's another one I had? Oh, Kinfire Delve is another one where like a boss determines the entire deck, and like the boss is a major part at the end. But again, like for me, you're not fighting the boss until the very end. So I don't know. It's all this arbitrary stuff.
It really is. Yeah. A few that, like when we were trying to discuss what we were considering boss battlers, I remember replying and saying our top 10 campaign games, only 2 of those I would consider boss battlers. Out of 20 games, 18 of them I would not. Like for me, a few of them that I wouldn't count is Madara. Like that has bosses, but most of exploration.
Yeah, I think any game where like some scenarios or some encounters are just a bunch of dudes, for me at least, takes it out of the boss battler like realm.
Yeah. Yeah. And it was interesting whenever I was making my list that when the games I came across, I'm like, I guess that is a boss battler. Huh. And so it was put into consideration. I thought I was only going to have like 5 to us do a top 5. And apparently I had way more than that were in consideration.
Yeah, I mean, I have 22, and that's
22.
with me being a little like Cully, you know, like Unstoppable kind of could fit in there and be like
Yeah.
23, and Death May Die kind of could fit in there because again, the boss has a large impact the entire play. That would be 24. But we're gonna hear about 10 plus an honorable mention today, so I'll stop saying
Yes.
other games.
So, with all that being said, Mike, why don't you kick us off with your honorable mention? I'm very excited because I mean, you were like, man, I could do a 50, and I'm like, how? There's not even 50.
No, I was wrong. With the constraints we had, I could only think of like maybe 25 games.
Yeah. I think I had
Yeah.
20 to consider. Even though in the next 2-3 years, there's like 10 more coming out. So
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if you were considering any games that you had previewed.
No. The closest I came, sorry, there's an honorable mention. The closest I came was the new Overlord expansion for Battle Crest, which is usually
Okay.
a 1v1 fighting game from Button Shy. They just crowdfunded recently a boss mode that's friggin' great, but it's only one boss right now. So I think even if it was out, because it has not delivered yet, I just played a prototype. Even if it was out, I think this singular boss would not let me rank it high enough.
Yeah.
But I love the system, so if they have more bosses later, then I can see it ranking. But yes, cutting all that out. My honorable mention, my number 11, I guess, is Marvel Champions.
Dude, that's my honorable mention.
Oh, wait, really? That's weird.
That's my number 11, if I spell Marvel correctly.
Yeah, so for those who don't know this game, although it's pretty popular, this is one of the Fantasy Flight LCG, or not, yeah, Fantasy Flight. LCGs, the cooperative card games that you buy packs and you buy the heroes here you want. Really great game. You know, you do fight against bosses. I guess in the later expansions, they've had some things that were a little bit outside of that realm, like escape scenarios and stuff, but it's pretty much always just punching a boss. The boss is always around. Yes, they have minions and stuff. But yeah, I mean, it lets you live out your Marvel dreams. It has this really cool card system where you are playing cards from your hand by discarding other cards. You have really interesting tactical choices each round. The bosses are, pretty unique, especially in some of the later scenarios, and they get pretty wacky. Like some of them are teams of bosses or bosses and environments and things going on.
New Loki one is like you're playing like 4 separate games of Marvel games. I'm like, I played that and I'm like, this is because I play this solo or 2-player. Like I'm like,
yes. No, me as well. The one time I played it 3-player, it really overstays its welcome.
Yeah.
And certainly I like Arkham Horror as a Fantasy Flight LCG about 1 billion times better, but that's not a boss battler at all, except for bosses every once in a while. So, yeah.
I was not sure if you were gonna. I wasn't sure if Arkham in. Because I'm like,
no, like Arkham has a boss like once per campaign sometimes, a couple of times per campaign. But anyway, Marvel Champions, not my, I mean, it might be at this point, like Lord of the Rings, I like better some days. Marvel Champions, I like better some days. But it's a solid game and a good boss battler, especially if you like Marvel stuff.
Yeah, 100%. This is like the epitome of Marvel. Fantasy Flight has been killing it with releases. It's their cooperative ones. They're competitive. LCGs just die after a few years. This one they keep coming out. Like now they finally introduced PvP where you can actually fight against other players, with a Civil War.
Oh, interesting. I mean, I have no desire to play that ever, but I guess it's good for some people.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to have more than just trying to actually fight a boss. But yeah, this was the one I was explaining, or I was mentioning that I was like, I guess that is a boss battler, even though you would never really...
I don't know what else to call it. Like, minions come out, but you could just ignore them and punch the boss the entire time and win that way,
Yeah, exactly. And I'm in the process now. I've started this thing called Marvel Mondays where I'm going through all the Marvel box sets with random heroes instead of the ones that come in it. Like I just finished Marvel The Galaxy's Most Wanted that originally was Rocket and Groot, but it randomly came out as Vision and Drax. So
it's an odd
Did not go over super well because Ronan is busted. He's impossible. I also don't deck build. I only ever play the precons because they're good. It could be better, but yeah.
Yeah, I know a few of them like Thor and Hulk kind of sucked, but I've always had fun with the precons too.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I mean, I completely agree. I think this one fits right up there, a little bit more niche, but I do agree with you there. Um, so yeah, I mean, my number 11 was also Marvel Champion, so gotta be so funny if we had every
I
single
don't think so. I think I got some wacky ones, man, that you probably haven't even played.
maybe. That's probably true. All right, well, kick us off with your number 10 then.
All right, so my number 10, I will say this is, I mean, this is probably going to piss some people off on a boss battler list. This is the only game that is like really in that KDM mold with like big miniatures and like tactical, focus on the one boss, and that is Oathsworn. It's my number 10.
Born. Okay.
Yeah, so Oathsworn, I really enjoy. I mean, there are some flaws and annoyances I have with the boss battling, but going beside the boss battling, I think the narrative and story is great. I like the little adventure, choose your own adventurous exploration thing. Sometimes it's mystery, sometimes it's survival. There's some nice variety there. You do fight one boss too many times, and I find him extremely annoying. But putting that aside, there's great variety in the bosses, like giant. Just to name some of the early ones, not to spoil too much, but like a big rat, giant worm creature, like parties of adventurers. And they have very unique activations. They do the KDM thing where, like, when you hit them too much, they activate as well. So you have like that dynamic kind of cinematic combat. And I really like what you're doing on your turn. I think the card play and it's a really interesting cooldown system for those who haven't seen it, where you can like push card, like there are these different spots for cooldown. You can push cards closer to being ready again by playing other cards at the same spots. So I find the tactical play in the cards great, the story great, really solid, big miniature or standee. They did have a standee version campaign game. That's Oathsworn.
Yeah, this one I absolutely love. There's a couple things. It's a positive and a negative. The positive is that mystery box thing that they did where you don't know what you're going to fight. For a first playthrough, that's amazing. On second playthrough, you don't have that same experience. So it does kind of have diminishing returns. Still a fantastic game. And this one and one other one, there is a boss battler that I'm currently playing that did not make this list. Dante Inferno.
Yeah, I just got I had gotten like a sort of prototype-ish version to do another playthrough for that, but I just got a final version today.
Oh, nice. Yeah, it's both of those games. They do the player turns very liquid, where it's like, okay, Mike can do something, then you can do something again, and I can do something. I love that. This one and that work really well with that type of like fluidity of player turns, whereas I feel like other games it might actually really hurt the
well, and especially I was playing Dante and I played most of Oathsworn either solo or 2-player, so the fluidity works better there. I feel like if it's 4 different players, it might be a little bit more awkward, kind of figuring out who's going to go next.
That's true. Yeah. So this one, definitely that battlefield system is awesome. And one thing I also wanted to mention about this list is there are games that are going to be in particular orders that if you're looking and you're like, well, Seth, did you have this game at your number 20 in your top 100 and this other game at, 9? Why is it lower? Or it's like, because I focus specifically on the boss fights, not the game overall.
Okay.
Like, that was just something I personally did. I was like, so like there are games that are technically I like better, but the boss fights themselves might not be as strong as others.
Yeah, whereas like I'll say some of my top games on the list, I kind of ranked them based on how much I just love the game, even if the boss fighting aspect is not the best. So yeah, it's slightly different ways to do it, but we'll see how it goes.
Yeah. All right. Great pick. And there's definitely more coming as confirmed by the designer.
Yeah, I wasn't sure about that, but that is cool to hear. I mean, not that
they put a really
we have so many big campaign games. I don't know if I need more, but that's
I mean, if they do it the exact same way, just a different biome, I'm all for it.
Oh, sure. Yeah, some new
Into the
characters, new
sand pits or
bosses.
something. Yeah, because
Yeah,
this experience.
no more ropes between trees or whatever.
Oh yeah, the iron thing that helps you go through the death forest. Yeah.
Yep.
All right, great. My number 10, most likely going to be higher on your list, I would imagine. This one is a complete shock to me because I expected it. Your first play is going to feel like, is this for babies? But it really opens up, and that is One Hit Heroes.
That is, yep, that might come up later.
So yeah, like One Hit Heroes is an absolute surprise for me because there's a couple things that this game could have went. If it was truly you get hit once and you lose, that would just probably not be very fun, especially with the way you take damage. It's kind of based off a die roll. But that's not necessarily the case because every time you take damage, you actually lose one of your items, and then when you have no items, you lose and you get hit. But what's really cool is all the damage that you deal to the boss ends up going onto your threat track, this aggro meter that increases the odds of you actually taking damage. So it is kind of your own fault if you don't have ways to reduce your aggro, because you really ramped up your attention, so you might get hit back. But what's really cool about this game is the individual bosses are so unique and they're themed within their episodes. And what's even cool about that is once you beat the bosses, their weapons and stuff go into like an armory so that on repeat plays, you just shuffle that armory up and draft those. And it kind of gives this really quick roguelike feel that I very much appreciate. It's very hard to do a roguelike in board games because you don't have that snappy, quick reset like video games give the luxury of. This game does a pretty damn good job of capturing that, and also confirmed season 2.
Yeah, I'm excited for that.
So, yeah, I wish the characters were a little bit more varied, but they're varied enough that it's not like, you're not, oh, I'm playing the plague doctor and you're playing the big muscle guy. We have the exact same cards. No, you do feel different from one another. But the game does kind of open up more as you play more and more bosses to get more and more items, which then say you aren't from the other players.
All right, that's a good pick. So my number 9 is Street Masters.
This one was considered. This was in my short list for sure. I just haven't played it in so long.
Yeah, I mean, I played one of the Steam Forge boxes because Steam Forge finally got the license and like re-released some stuff. Yeah, so this is a Sadler Brothers game. It's one of their modular things where you pick a boss, you pick a arena, you pick your characters, and the bosses do have a lot of minions, but you can absolutely just go and blitz the boss and win. Sometimes that's the best way to go. But the bosses are fun. They like lock in with their minions, so you get kind of even more variety with them there. This is one where the player characters, they have each of these talents or tactics, I think they're called, which are ongoing cards. It's a little bit like Marvel Champions in this way, where like once you get all your tactics out, that's when your character really feels like it comes to life and you have all these awesome tools and combos you can pull off. But then the boss, sort of Cthulhu Death May Die-ish, is playing unique cards for them, but then also the scenario, actually it's more like Sentinels and Multiverse, I guess I should say. But then the scenario or the arena is also playing off cards. And yeah, it's just a fun time. Not every, the biggest negative I have that pushes this game further back on the list is that not every scenario, not every boss is well balanced, and certain hero combinations can just totally break things and make it way too easy or way too hard. So you got to just kind of go with the flow and, maybe play a scenario a few times and figure out what's easy or hard for you.
This game, because I still have everything for it except the Steam Forge box, they really like set themselves apart from everyone else with their modular system. But it's interesting because it feels like that only really worked here and maybe Brook City. But like Alter Quest, I felt like it didn't quite work as well. And then that might be the other one that they actually went on and did those 3 games.
Well, no, so they have one crowdfunding soon. I just did a preview for they've started their own company because
Yes.
they were screwed over by Blacklist just like we were. But that's a different story.
Oh, I thought they were Blacklist. Were they, so
Yeah, well, I mean,
oh,
they were heavily involved in it, so I'm not saying they are blameless.
I
People are
see.
mad at them, but no, the main guy for Blacklist, who majorly screwed Peter and I over in a design, that's Alex something. I forget what his name is. He's the
Find him,
starting.
dox him. Here's his address. No.
Yeah. So, like that certainly takes Street Masters down a little bit as well, just kind of the whole drama with it. Oh, another thing to mention I love is there's something the Sadler brothers do in almost all their designs. There's like not really a bad result on your dice. Like even if you miss, you get free defense tokens to help you survive later. And there's exploding crits. So you can get these crazy, huge attacks. It's just a silly, fun time.
Yeah, like it's beat 'em up. That's how I've always
Yeah, it's like a beat 'em up in real life, or not real life, but in board games, and it's a lot.
Yeah. No, I saw their new game because they quit after they were involved in the Freedom 5, which took forever to come out, but it was actually solid. And then then they quit. And I was like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. And then they came back and I saw the Malice Adventures, which is based off of Brady's book series.
Correct. Which I've been reading the first one. It's actually pretty good.
Oh, okay, good. I was gonna ask in the comments. I was like, have you read the books? Because I've read some fantasy books by like new authors or something, and I'm like, don't quit your.
Yeah, I've not finished the first one yet. It does have the Game of Thrones problem that it has a lot of perspectives and like narrator characters, and some I care about more than others. Like, I don't know if you ever read Game of Thrones, but I'd be like, yeah, give me another Tyrion chapter. And then I'd be like, oh no, it's Bran. God, so,
yeah.
So it has that kind of thing.
I never finished book 5 because I realized George R. R. Martin is never gonna finish the series. I'm like,
no, definitely not.
And so, but I completely agree with you there. I hated Daenerys's chapters, so I was like, can I skip these? But I probably can't because they're important.
Eventually.
But yeah, so this one is a solid one. It was definitely considered for me. All right. My number 9, this is the other one that I wouldn't have considered to be a traditional boss battler, but it was I did do some research actually, and this one was on a lot of lists, and that is Final Girl.
Oh, yeah, you know what?
Right?
Why not? You're definitely killing a boss. I didn't even think about that one.
I don't know because you would not think otherwise, but I'm like, that's all you're doing. Like, is you have to kill the killer. I guess it's because
and there's tons of variety based on which killer you use. So no,
which killer, which location. I have everything. I have all 3 season boxes. I'm actually not friends. I'm friendly with AJ from Van Ryder.
Oh yeah, and AJ's the best. He published our first game.
Oh yeah, no, he is awesome. Like every time I see him at Gen Con, he's like, "Hey, do you have the alternate minis?" He's like, "Here, just take them." I'm like, "AJ, I just come over to say hi." To quick give it me. He's like, "I'll let you do free content because I do a video on every single box set series."
Oh wow, that's a lot.
It really is not every combination because I'd be 200
of course
videos, but it just keeps getting better and better. Someone actually just asked which series I like better, how I rank them. And I'm like, probably off theme alone, 2, 3 than 1. Because 2 had The Thing, had Alien, had Silent Hill. So I'm like, yeah, it's pretty solid. But yeah, I mean, this game, completely random. Like, you don't go into this game trying to be super strategic. Go with the flow. They even incentivize you when you have edge cases on like, how does something work? They're like, do whatever is worst for you. Do whatever is funniest. Or do whatever is thematic. I always go the funny route because it drips with that campy B-movie horror theme. I have actually played this I showed this to my girlfriend, had her play, and I kind of pseudo DM'd it, where I would help amp up the actions and what's happening on the scenario. So that's another fun way to play. But I've had people tell me they hated it because it's way too random, and I'm like, 100%.
Yeah, you got to be okay with that and go with it.
Yeah, more often than not. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I gotta now figure out where this would fit in my list because it definitely is 100% valid.
Yeah, like I thank you to that whoever made that geek list of boss battlers because it was in there, and I was like, I guess it is. Yeah. So there's nothing else because you don't. I mean, there are technically some bosses with minions. Actually, the one in this picture, Geppetto, he has puppets that move around, but you don't really deal with them. You have to remove the boss's health. And one of the coolest things about this game is this little token right here, where if you kill them, you have to flip it to see if you actually did it. And it's like sometimes you just you down, you're like, I beat them, and then they come back with 3 health, and you're like, I'm so dead. Oh no. But the sheer amount of variety that is in one box set is awesome with the different events, the combination of tarot cards, and the combination of items that come out. Like you would think, oh man, I'd really like some more action cards. Not really. Like you want these staple cards to use to help you fight, and the variety comes from the feature films. So also, confirmed Series 4 coming out. So, which I'll get. Although they did Series 4 a little bit weird. They're piecing it out already. So I have 2 of the 4. I have Shriek, which is based off Scream, and then I have Fun Times at Buddyland, which is Five Nights at Freddy's. Those are Series 4 sets, but they released them early I don't know why they decided to go that route. But I think it was actually.
I mean, they also had like the Santa Claus one. I remember there was like sort of a separate
Krampus one. Yeah. That one, was for Series 3, but that one came out separate, but you could fit it in the box. So,
okay.
I would imagine, I mean, this is easily Van Ryder's most popular game.
Yeah.
I would hope they're done after Series 4, but then what else are they going to make? Hopefully not more Dark Quarter shit. So, like,
oh yeah, that one. That was something.
That one's vomit inducing. Anyway, final girl, my number 9.
Number 8 is no. Well, like, yeah, I got to figure out who would be in the top 10. My number 8 is your recent one Hit Heroes.
That's is Phil. We're not that far off.
Yeah, I agree with everything you said. I'll just add a few like complaints that keep it from being in the top 5 or so. It is like super random. Some bosses are incredibly frustrating. We found like based on our combination, because I was playing this one mostly with my kids, and we found like some combinations of heroes just like really struggled to do like enough damage or beat bosses, and then sometimes the game like would come down to rolling that attack die. None of that means that I don't love the game. It's still my number 8 on the list. It's awesome, and it's a ton of fun, and my kids really enjoy it too. And yeah, that whole like aggro system and lots of ways to help each other out and stuff. And the characters have really cool combos to pull off. And like you said, the opening the packs and getting the armory and upgrading is great. But yes, it does have some pain points as you get into like the second and third chapters or acts of the game. But it's still a lot of fun on number 8.
Yeah, the fact that the die is not just color based, it is also has a full hit or full miss. It's like, I mean, you can absolutely just roll hit after hit after hit, and you're like, okay, we lost. So
yeah, exactly.
But the counter to that could just be, well, it's quick to reset, which it is. So it's not the worst thing in the world. And that's coming from me, who gets really sick and tired of randomness after a certain point. This has never been an issue. I think it's because I go in thinking it's a roguelike. Same whenever I lose Slay the Spire, I'm like, okay. Like, because I knew that was a possibility versus, I don't know, some other games with randomness that rub me the wrong way. All right, my number 8. This one, I would imagine, is on your list, and it would be higher on mine if I would have played it more. I have played it actually a pretty good amount of times, but I've not beaten it or played it as much as the other ones, as Boss Fighters QR. You just did a review over this one. What was it, full pros on every single one?
No, I think I might have done like one mix for the app.
The app, yeah. I was listening to it.
Yes, it was pretty much all pros for sure.
Yeah, this one, I remember seeing this cover and this super generic ass name. And Pegasus Spiel
It is a terrible name.
It's so awful. Like, it's so on the nose. Like, this feels like Pegasus Spiel went on ChatGPT and was like, hey, come up with a boss battler board game name. Like, Boss Fighters QR. Like, geez, write that down. But Pegasus Spiel, for some reason, is a company that I always attribute to lackluster games, which I don't know where I get that, but I think it's because I played some of their, like, some mediocre games in the past that Pegasus Spiel probably just helped publish. All that being said, if you're like me and you saw the title and you saw, like, wow, this could not be more of a generic game, it is so good. It has, I mean, unless you hate apps, then I would just say grow up and get with the times, old man. But yeah, that QR system is clean. The fact that there's some companies that utilize apps, Lucky Duck as a great company, where you don't even need the game. Like, everything, the app is so good that it's like, I have not looked or touched any of my shit because the app does everything. That's a bad way to use apps. This one, it just manages all the hit points, all the effects, and the best thing that they have for this app is the bosses have secret effects that you have to figure out, and you're like, why did this happen? Like, why am I? And most of the time, I still don't know. I still have no idea how the first boss gives you poison tokens. I'm just like, well, I'll weather it, but like, but that's what's really neat is if you can figure out how, then you can counter that. But this is also another game that has, like, so much player interaction. I don't want to take up too much because I want you to say stuff about it because it's probably your number one. But yeah, this one is fantastic. I don't have a rating yet. I wanted to play more bosses. We just finished the dragon boss. Spoiler.
Oh, that one's great.
That one's really, really cool. All the bosses have been awesome. We tried to fight the not the secret one, the one that they just added for Christmas. I was like, hey, the Krampus doll, and I was like, you know what? Let's just see how bad the hardest difficulty is. It was a massacre. It was so bad. I'm like, okay, never mind. So
yeah, I think we had to click it back to the second easiest for him to finally beat him. I think it took 3 attempts. We'd beaten every boss at least once, and yeah, he was a tough one.
Yeah, we've been going through. It's my girlfriend and I. We've been playing, and we just beat the dragon boss, and we do the second.
Yep. Yeah, that's where I suggest people start. I think that's good for gamers. With my kids, I would play easiest or second easiest a lot of the time.
But they have 4 difficulties for each boss. And
it's excellent.
Yeah. And I don't know. The one thing I haven't been able to figure out is if they change the bosses based off of the difficulty or if it's just more health and damage.
So far, it's more health and damage from them, and like their effects are worse. You know, their automatic effects or the status effects they give you. So it's kind of like a little, greater intensity across the board.
Sure. Yeah. So, I mean, this is one that I just hope that they already did it with that boss on there, but it's like, man, if they do it like a Boss Fighters QR2, like with more heroes and more items to use, like that would be awesome. So only time will tell, but fantastic game. We'll talk about it later.
Maybe.
You're like, I forgot about Boss Fighter on the boss.
No, I'm not saying that. It's literally in the name. Number 7 is I combined Aeon's End and Astro Knights. I guess I probably like Astro Knights a bit more. I have not played the Invincible version. Yeah, wow, there's 3 IPs now for this dang boss system.
So which one do you want me to pull up? Astro Knights?
Sure, Astro Knights is the one that I played the most recently.
Okay.
But yeah, this is the game. Yeah, they took, like, they just, instead of making the next Astro Knights release, they just totally stopped making Astro Knights when they got the Invincible IP and made it Invincible themed.
Oh.
And it's cross-compatible, but I just kind of hate it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, it's weird. It's like what they're doing with Unstoppable and Dungeon Crawler Carl. Like,
dude, Man,
Like it's fine. It's gonna bring in more people. It's gonna make them more money. But it's like I kind of just wanted more unstoppable guys. Like the
yeah.
theme was fine, you know.
No, I agree. With Unstoppable, I was like, there's only 3 bosses. There really needs to be more. And then it was in the hotness. I'm like, oh, cool. They announced something. No, never heard of this dungeon crawler Carl thing. So I'm
I'm
like,
gonna read it. It's supposed to be great. People on
all
our
right.
Discord love it. I think it might be good. Anyway, but yeah. So Astro Knights and Aeon's End and Invincible. These honestly are not my favorite deck builder, like cooperative deck builder games in the deck building category, because I do find the deck building like a little bit anemic. The combos aren't that exciting. A lot of like the spells you get aren't that cool, but the bosses are pretty great, I think. You can see like one here in Astro Knights, they level up consistently as they go through their deck and they have unique cards. Generally, each of them has unique mechanics. Same thing for Aeon's End. Like you'll have some guy that summons swarms of enemies. You'll have some guy that like builds robots or just all this different stuff. And they level up as the game goes on, even as you're deck building and leveling up. So the challenge and kind of the intensity just ramps up and ramps up. Yeah, and it's a classic one. I mean, there's so many. If you count all 3 series, there's so many things you can buy,
Yeah.
and all of them work well. Like, there's not really anything bad that I've played out of all of them. So yeah, that's my number 7. Astro Knights, Aeon's End, Invincible, Dungeon Crawler Carl. Not really, but
Yeah,
everything, all the themes.
I used to own everything for Astro Knights, and then I actually think I have a video on all the bosses that were in the core set. And I was like, I don't need to own this. I have Aeon's End. And I have everything for Aeon's End. So, and I much prefer fantasy over sci-fi. So I'm like, there's never a world where I'm probably going to pick Astro Knights over Aeon's End as a game to play. Not that there's anything wrong with this one. It's pretty much the exact same system, but it was a weird shift that they did whenever they were like, hey, instead of making another Legacy or more Aeon's End, let's do another completely different game, but it's the same format and a different theme. And then apparently they abandoned that. I didn't know they abandoned that to then go into Invincible. So it's like,
Yeah.
why'd you even bother with Astro Knights?
Well, to be fair, they still made several Aeon's End releases after Astro Knights came out. So
They did, yeah. And I
just
think there's another
throwing
one.
stuff at the wall and seeing what makes some money, I think.
Sure, exactly. Yeah. A friend of mine, he just sold all of his Aeon's End stuff. And I'm like, how dare you? He's like, dude, I don't play it. I'm like 5 standalone box sets behind. I'm like, yeah, like, and if you want to do it for its story, like, you kind of got to play them in order. It's weird. So they, the indie boards and cards company just kind of has a weird release schedule, but
Yeah.
still, this is a fantastic boss battler. I agree. All the bosses are unique for them. So, yeah, not bad. Not bad. All right. My number 7. I don't know if you've covered this game. I'm pretty sure you have. This one I kind of thought was going to be higher every time because whenever you did your list, did you do the Pub Maple ranking?
Yeah, I always
Okay.
do the pub people.
Yeah, it's amazing. Every time this game was mashed up with something, I always had to pause and think because I'm like, I love this game, but like I don't know, like I expected it to be higher, and that is Townsfolk Tussle.
Yeah, I've covered this and I previewed the expansion. I don't think I've actually played the final
Okay.
version of it.
Okay. Yeah, Townsfolk Tussle is basically, Cuphead, the board game, even though there is actually a Cuphead board game, or I think it's a dice game. It's a rubber band, 80s, 60s cartoon. I don't know. I can't remember what the era was of this style of cartoon. But it's phenomenal. It's so wacky. Like the sheer amount of items that you can get for your different builds to go off and fight these bosses is awesome. Every single boss is different. And they did a really cool thing with this one, which is kind of a positive and a negative. Because the negative part is that when you play, you have to fight 4 bosses. And well, technically the expansion added a way to not do that. But typically you're fighting 4 bosses. Each boss has I can't really zoom in, has 4 levels to it, depending on when you match up with it. Now, it doesn't drastically change the boss, but typically every boss that you fight first will have nothing unique about him. Then, oh, you fight Will Barlow second. Okay, well, now he's going to have this little twist to him. You fight him third, he's going to have this twist to him. But if you find him last, every boss has like a final fight system that is completely different than all the other fights. That is amazing. The expansions to this game are, I'd probably say, necessary. Like, they just add more bosses. And then one of the other ones adds kind of like the set collection element of items. So if you get a certain number of items of a particular set, you get a unique ability, which is really, really cool. But yeah, this game has so many awesome things that are thrown into it with the town events, the metal cards, that you just have an absolute blast playing this one. Out of all the other ones, well, not counting Boss Fighters QR, this was a sure thing that was making this list for me. Like I said, the only reason it got pushed back a little bit to the other ones is because I think lately with boss battlers, I really like the short, not the short and sweet, but like the boom, one scenario and we're done. And this one, it is 4 boss fights, so it is a long, a long sit down to actually play. But yeah, I absolutely love this one. So that's my number 7.
Well, I mean, to be fair, it's kind of modeling itself off KDM and Aeon Trespass Odyssey and those kind of games, and it's short. It certainly seems short compared to those.
That is true. Like, this luckily isn't a campaign game.
Yeah.
But it also has some, I mean, the Panic Roll Company, I think this is all they've made. I know they're going to make another game, but it's like a Euro game set around designing, like you're building the town of Eureka Springs, I think is what is the next game. And I'm like, stay in your wheelhouse, make more Townsfolk Tussle stuff. What are you doing? That's like,
No, come on. Founders of Gloomhaven worked out so great for. Is that what you're about to say, Isaac?
yeah. I'm like, Isaac tried that, and
everyone loves when you have a big adventure game and then you make a Euro about the town the adventure is set in. That's a great idea.
It always goes over well. I'm pretty sure that game is like, that game is like the equivalent of the Atari ET game. It's probably in a landfill somewhere.
I mean, from what I heard, it's not like actively bad. It's just such a switch that I think it got, criticized more.
Sure.
Than maybe it deserved. I never played it.
I didn't either. I'm like, no, like, what are you doing? But yeah, like I think the expansions that they did make for it would be awesome, but because it's a game I really love, as you can tell from my ranking, I just always want more bosses, and you have to have more bosses in the boss battler.
Yeah, that one is on my short list higher up. It didn't make the top 10 for me.
Gotcha.
All right, my next one is probably, I would guess, I think you'll at least have heard of all the other games on my list. This one I bet you've never heard of, or maybe you have, I don't know. Cradia Wild Hunt Festival.
I don't know how to spell that.
So Kradia. That should bring it up right away. There you go.
Okay, so we're learning a little bit about Mike. Any body pillows behind you? Like any...
That's just because it has an ad. Don't be judgmental, man.
Dude, I love anime. I just watched hold on. Guy, oh god. Yep, Guy Chiapuda. I just watched this entire series. It's a shonen where they use like trash as like their weapons.
That's interesting.
It's, if you've ever seen Fire Force or Soul Eater,
yeah,
it has that kind of vibe. So I just watched the full series of that. So no, I'm not judging because of the anime. I'm just giving you a hard time.
So this one's interesting because I had covered it.
I did, yeah. I watched your video and backed it.
Oh, okay, yeah. There you go. So it must have looked kind of cool. But yeah, so this one I had covered on the channel, gosh, like forever ago. I think it was like 2019 or 2020, and I enjoyed it, but I felt like, I don't know what was happening with me. I eventually called it. It didn't really stick in my brain that much. So then somehow I heard they were doing a reprint, kind of deluxe edition. And then this is a game that's designed in Japan. So they were bringing over some things that came out in Japan, but never came over here. So I got in touch with them and previewed it, the new stuff. And I don't know, like, what I was thinking, man. It's great. It's got this really cool thing. If you can find one of the boss boards, it'll kind of help to explain what I'm talking about. These are all hero boards. Yeah, see if one
Let's
pops up
see.
eventually.
Oh, here we go.
There you go. That's perfect. That's perfect. So if you see the like life bar on the right, it starts out at the 40 in this case. And what happens is the boss, first of all, they'll give you mana in different colors whenever you hit them. Like if it's on blue or red, you get that color mana. And different characters need like different mana colors to cast their awesome abilities, which are super diverse. But then wherever the boss ends, because you have a party of 4, no matter what player count you're playing at, and they're all taking turns. Wherever the boss's life ends, if you can kind of see them, the sort of like diamond shapes underneath each value, that's the number of dice they roll. And then, yeah, if you look on the left, you add up the values of those dice, and that's what their activation is for the round. And some activations are like so much worse than others, especially at certain times or when you have certain status effects. So you really got to be careful, like not just like most boss battlers, just kill the boss as quickly as you can. I'd actually put it closer to like something like Boss Fighters QR, where there's really interesting timed effects going on that you have a ton of predictability about once you learn the boss.
Yeah.
The powers are insanely different, especially with the new expansions coming that I got to preview. They have like all new modes, like they have an adventure mode with like narrative and exploration. You can do one-off boss fights. You can do kind of like Townsfolk Tussle, 4 bosses in a row where you're leveling up after each one. It's a really, really awesome game. Now, the one thing I will say is each character's turn is so light and quick that I strongly recommend people play it with 1 or 2 players, just so that you have enough to do. You know what I mean? Because like if you're controlling a single character, it's like you're doing so little on your turn. Like you might, I mean, it really is for me. Like there's some other games that do this that are also boss battlers that I like. Like one of them higher up on my list is Encounter Shattered Waste. That's really good, like JRPG boss battler. But this is the JRP boss battler for me. Like,
Yes.
when I'm saying JRPG, like Final Fantasy, like turn-based combat kind of thing with like really interesting bosses that go through different modes and stuff. This gets that 100% in a really quick fashion. Yeah, so I think it's a hidden gem. You know, I hope with the new Kickstarter crowdfunding, when that delivers, I hope it finds more people. But yeah, this one, I was like, why the heck did I call this when I played it again? I'm so excited to get the new stuff and play it.
Yeah, and no, exactly. The reason why this isn't on my list or even on my radar is because I don't have like I
yeah.
had seen your recent playthrough in my recent. It was probably like a year ago because time like isn't a
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely last year. Yeah, because it was on. I did a bonus video on my top 20 crowdfunding games, and this was pretty high, so it was definitely last year at some point.
And I completely agree. Like I think I mentioned it before, and it's kind of like a perfect comparison to a lot of campaign games is Madara, and that's a JRPG campaign game. And that we weirdly don't get a lot of JRPG games. And whenever I saw you playing this one, I'm like, that looks right up my alley. 1, it's a boss battler. And 2, it has this very high JRPG anime, not cringy anime.
No. I don't think any of the character, like the artist they got for the character designs, does not do like fan servicey, like giant breasts hanging out kind of character. Like
Really. Can I cancel?
I mean, yeah, that has its time and place, but you know, this is a game I can play with my kids. They're gonna like the character designs. And
yeah, you mean they didn't release a bathing suit set like Madara?
No, it's like ATO, Madara. Hey, let's have a bathing suit set. You know, KDM pinups.
Aliens even with the wet nurse, and it's like,
and
they sell out immediately.
Yep, good for them. That's not me. Yeah, look at that fun little bear dude in the upper left. Like he's awesome. The characters are really distinctive and fun, and they play. You know, like the game is very straightforward in what the heroes do. It's definitely not like a primal where you're playing all these cards for crazy combos, but the characters are quite distinct, and building your party is distinct. Like it feels incredibly different having a party with like 2 healers and 2 tanks versus like a ton of DPS rogues and mages. You know.
Yeah, I mean, just the back of this character sheet is like prime, you know, the Tales of series or Legend of the Heroes series. It's just
and look at all that text that you never need to read if you just want to know about this guy.
who doesn't want to play Erase, the Holy Shield of Orthos?
Dude,
This is
he's my favorite
campaign.
character.
Is he?
Wait, what do you say?
I said, did you say he's your favorite character?
I mean, like from the base game. I really
Oh,
like some of
gotcha.
the expansion ones I got to try out.
Nice. This isn't a campaign game, is it?
No. So, like I said, you can play 4 bosses in a row, like
Okay.
Townsfolk Tussle, and then this new like adventure mode is I think about again 4 bosses total, but
Okay.
also like exploring and reading narrative stuff. But no, definitely not like you could finish any of the modes in maybe 2 hours max, and they do have one-off boss fights that are like half an hour.
Cool. Cool. Yeah, no, I'm very excited. I don't know when it's supposed to deliver, hopefully sometime this year. But this is one of the ones that's on my, soon to be delivered list that could have made this list. So good deal. All right. My number 6, this is one that we had actually brought up when we were communicating on whether or not, what is a boss battler. This
Okay.
one out of all of the 11 on here is actually, people would be like, you don't really fight a boss. Yeah, I guess not really. And that's Leviathan Wilds.
I mean, you got me to think about it, so I'll go with you. I mean, it is 100% a game where the boss is the entire focus,
Yeah.
and they drastically change how the game's played, and you're fighting crystals that are part of them. It's kind of fighting them.
Yeah. I mean, in and of itself, the boss fights you. It does have like attack cards, and you're just, but I mean, this would be akin to if you play Shadow of the Colossus, you go around and you fight, you are defeating the bosses there. You're essentially doing the exact same thing here because these are like corrupted crystals that are the reason why the boss is even attacking you. And you're not trying to kill the boss, but you're trying to relieve it of these dice. And that's how you win. So not a traditional boss battler in the sense of like literally all the other ones where they have a health pool that you're trying to defeat. But you can think of the crystal dice as their health. But it's making my list, so regardless, because I absolutely love this game. I love the card system of either deciding whether to use your card for its action point value or for its ability, and your deck being your grip. So if you run out of cards, you could fall, but falling actually isn't the worst thing in the world. So the different combinations, I love that aspect of like Boss Fighters QR does this too, where it's like, I want to be this character and this class. And you just mix and match any type of combo that you want. Some might suck. Some might be really, really good. I've had one where I was showing a friend of mine this game. We were fighting this boss and I had like no movement. I was like, I hit really hard, but I was like, I'll get there eventually. We did not win because I just couldn't ever get up to the higher.
Well, and to be fair, they do a great thing, which I wish more games would do, where they have like a card for each class and hero that says their mobility rating and their attack rating and their like support of other characters' ratings. So you can really, in 10 seconds, find somebody that fits the play style you want to play.
Oh yeah, 100%. They have really creative ones too. The gambler flicks a die. There's 2 complaints I have with
If you mean by creative terrible, then yes, the gambler is creative.
what do you mean? Like you don't like flicking coin or?
I know, I love flicking a coin. He's just a terrible character. Even if the coin goes your way sometimes, he's just not good because it's not predictable. Like
That is true. But there's 2 things that I hate about this game. That red ring that is way too big, and all they had to fix, because Dragon Eclipse did this with their spiral bound map books, cut out, I was going to show you, but cut out this section, like have the spiral bound on the edge so that the ring doesn't get in the way.
Well, that's what Tidal Blades 2 did as well. They have like 2 books you put together for each scenario.
Like, it's just so much better. But the second thing is actually not even part of the actual game. It's an expansion pack. The mutation pack is cool, except they have expansions that they didn't include mutations for.
Well, yeah, the entire Deep Veil doesn't have mutations.
Exactly. So it's kind of like, oh, you would think that they would have thrown that in because thematically it's supposed to represent, oh, this Sage monster has abilities from another, boss.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't
they
bother
do that.
me. I think Justin, I feel like I talked to him at some point, the designer and like head of the company. I think he said that they might bring him out for other people. But I mean, whatever. Like, honestly, I rarely use them because they're so hard already. You know what I mean? At higher difficulties.
No,
And you can
exactly.
still use all the mutations of the first 10 or so, I was about to say Colossi, Leviathans on the Deep Veil one. So at least you
You
still have a
can.
ton of
Yeah.
modularity in there.
I feel like I need to have the
You're a completionist. Hey,
Yeah.
and I've seen how you talk about games. It's not my mindset, but I understand.
Yeah, it's the same thing I have with Heat whenever they added new race cars, but didn't include them as, like, a color in the in the
Well, that
AI.
actually sucks because you literally can't play bigger games of racers because you don't have enough like colors for all of them. Yeah,
Yeah, even though
that's legitimately annoying.
all the maps have spaces for 12 cars, but it's like, well, I can't play with 12 cars.
Yeah, you
It's
can do 7. I've done 7 because if I use one of the the colors not on the card, I can have 6 bots plus me.
That's true, yeah.
That's the best you can do right now.
My only assumption is that because thank God, because Mooncrab is a new studio or a new publishing house that I can't remember where Justin came from, but I feel like he was with another
Yes, I forget which two. It might have been Fantasy Flight or somebody. And
Fantasy Flight or Flat Hat or one of the bigger names that he moved on and did his own studio, which feels kind of like how video game companies do with like Sandfall Studio, where it's like, I used to be a Ubisoft dev. Ubisoft sucks. I'm going to make the best game ever made in Expedition 33. And it kind of feels a little bit like that. I'm really glad this game took off because Deep Veil is awesome. And they've already announced Shattered Peak, which is even bigger. And
well, I want it to be bigger because the one thing I didn't love about Deep Veil is that I only got one new hero and one new class. I wanted like the same numbers in the base game.
yeah, I am right there with you. But yeah, this one looks like I think it adds 2. I thought it said 3 new climbers. So 3 new climbers and how many bosses? I thought it said, but maybe 8 bosses or something. Either way, what's really cool about them following the Deep Veil and Shattered Peak is they've released a map in the Deep Veil box that shows the map of the land. Deep Veil is one, Shattered Peak is one, and there's like 3 others. So it's like more stuff that I won't get to. I need
and like Boss Fighters QR, and you already mentioned this, but with the combo, expansions are that much better because it's not just 3 new climbers and 3 new classes. It's 57 new combos, whatever.
Yeah, no, that's 100% true. So it just and this game is so quick to play, so quick. Another thing I love about this game is the boss attack cards. As the game keeps going on, they get stronger, but it's not the same ones that rotate. You always shuffle the deck and then it's new ones that you're rotating. So you're never quite sure what it's going to do. But
which was not how it worked in the very first prototype I played. And
did it used to be the same ones?
It used to be like the same ones would rotate each time, and it was definitely not as interesting. Yeah, now it's swingier now, and sometimes the rotation won't hurt you as much, but it's way better. It's variety.
Yeah, because it's not like you flip it and you're like, oh, cool, we can't do anything about that. You see it and you're like, oh shit, we got to get out of this spot because that's 10 damage coming my way. I will say, I think this game does work better with more people only because a lot of the conditions of the cards say the highest or lowest health. And if it's 2 people, it's like one of us is always the highest, But other than that, very minor complaint. This game is still it's a 9 out of 10 for me. Okay, I thought it was 10 out of 10. Still love it. That's my number 6.
Yep. All right, my number 5. It's funny you just mentioned Plaid Hat. This is where I put Ashes Reborn and/or Ascendancy, I guess, is like the new direction with the series. So for those who are not familiar, this was originally it is still a 1v1 like dueling card game a la Magic the Gathering or what have you. But with the Red Rain sets that they released, a whole bunch of, and then now the Ascendancy set, it has a boss mode as well.
Okay.
And this is a little bit, I was trying to figure out if I should include this because it's definitely one of my favorite games. because it does have the unstoppable thing where like one of the primary ways you deal damage to the boss is if you destroy enemies, that damages the boss. That's like often the main way you do damage a lot of the time.
Yeah.
But you can also just straight up blast the boss with magic or send your minions to attack the boss. So that definitely is a viable path too. But yeah, the variety in bosses is great. Each of them got their own expansion because you did need originally the Corpse of Vyros Red Rain set that had like the components, and now Ash's Ascendancy is another jumping in point. But each of the expansions would have a boss with not one but two complete decks, like of these aspects, these minions they would play with special powers. And then each of the bosses would also have like a unique mechanic, like they drown you or put your units to sleep or different stuff. And it has just awesome card play. Like it's very, yummy for Magic the Gathering players. Like you're summoning cool units, you're playing cool spells, you're buffing your units with enchantments. It's also got this dice, like sort of mana system. Like you roll these 10 dice each round, and that's what you use to play your spells. But then the dice also have powers. So you got to decide how you want to use the dice. Just a fantastic game.
The dice are unique.
Yeah,
like school, right?
Right, and you can pick how to build your pool. So sometimes I'll throw in dice that have nothing to do with the cards I'm going to play in my deck, just because I really love the dice power, and that's going to shore up a weakness in my deck. And this is one that I, kind of like Marvel Champions. I pretty much just play precons, and that's good enough. And each of the solo co-op sets comes with a really good deck and multiple heroes because you can kind of slot in different heroes with the deck. And it works great. So yeah, one of my favorite sort of Magic the Gathering-esque games in general, and the boss battle mode is awesome. That's my number 5, right?
This one with the Ascendancy mode, did Plaidhead basically nix all the old stuff and they're like, this is
no.
It all still works?
So you can use any deck, any hero with a new boss, and you can use the 2 hero decks in Ascendancy with the old bosses. I believe that what they've said is for all the old stuff, it's going to go to a print-on-demand model, like Fantasy Flight used to have for a little while. So, the quality might be a little bit different, but yeah, it makes sense. They have, I don't know, 30 or 40 SKUs at this point for the game between all the heroes you can get and all the different boss sets and everything. So, I think it's probably a nightmare to reprint for that. So, print-on-demand seems to make sense, especially for, they're not a giant company like Wizards of the Coast or anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, you should still be able to get the old stuff. It'll just be maybe in a different format or stuff eventually.
Yeah, because I remember, when Plaid had a game, their Asmodee, they did Ash's, what was it, Reborn?
Yeah, well, there was Ashes first, and then that had major issues, and then Ashes Reborn is basically Ash's second edition.
Yep.
Because they rebalance a lot of stuff, they improve some mechanics. It's kind of like they've done this before. Summoner Wars is one of my favorite games of all time, and they did Summoner Wars second edition, which is a massive improvement for me over the original Summoner Wars.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah. Although, to their credit, for Ashes at least, they had an upgrade pack. I actually got this because I bought, they did send me review copies eventually when they did the solo co-op mode. But originally, I bought a huge collection of cards that were the first edition of the game from some dude on BGG. And then I bought the upgrade pack, which they were selling for really cheap for the number of cards you got, like 20 or 30 bucks on their website. And that updated every card that needed to be updated to the new version. So cool. They've been good with the game, I think. They did the best they could with this kind of complete refurbishment,
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely a lot better than Fantasy Flight being like, hey, Arkham Horror, the card game again. And it's like, what do you mean? Is it compatible with all of the other stuff? It is. All right. What's happening?
I mean, I'm still confused by that. If they send it to me, I'll film it, but I don't know what the hell it is.
Yeah, dude, I don't even know. I went on a rant about that. My friend was so pissed. I'm like, dude, I thought it was Elder Tour 2nd edition or Mansions of Madness 3rd. And
which would have been cool.
It would have been cool. But they could have even brought back Elder Sign. They could have done anything instead of the worst thing they could have done. But yeah, Ashes is weird to me. I don't think it's bad. I have it at 7, but I don't own it. And because I hadn't played Reborn, I only played this version.
And you've never played the solo co-op though.
I have never played a solo co-op. I watch your videos on it, and as I'm watching, I'm like, I think the dice would piss me off. I think
No, they're. I mean, you might. Don't get me wrong. You might feel that way, but you can do as a side action any turn, just discard cards off the top of your deck, and at least in the boss mode, you pretty much never go through your whole deck because it's a game where you can get decked out.
okay.
But yeah, like you can discard cards off the top of your deck to change as many dice as you want into the best side, like the 1 out of 6 chance side. So yeah, I don't think it's that.
The original as well.
I don't know. I literally never played the original. I just got cards for it and then immediately upgraded to the updated set.
Because, and maybe that's it. Like, so I'm going off of, I mean, this apparently Ashes Reborn came out in 2015. That makes me sad because I thought that came out in like 2019.
So where were you playing Ashes?
So man? I was playing, I mean, it would have been well over 10 years ago. Well, actually, no, the game came out well over 10 years ago, but I got into it at like 5 years ago. But only.
Oh, so how were you playing the old version then?
I think I got it secondhand. Okay. Because I had heard about it, and it was at the time I was also playing Magic, so I was only playing this as 1v1, and 1v1 games that have dice in them, not counting Summoner Wars, usually don't work for me because it's like, sure, I didn't beat you, you didn't beat me, dice just went one way or another is how it boils down to. Summoner Wars second edition.
Yes, I was gonna say even Summoner was first edition. While I did love the game still back then, the dice pissed me off so much because for those who haven't played, melee attacks would hit 2/3 of the time and range attacks would hit half the time.
Yeah.
And one of the great changes they did in second edition, just that little bit, they were like, hey, now melee hits 5/6 of the time and range hits 4/6 of the time. And they just boosted everybody's life a little bit.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
It makes it so rarely am I pissed off in that game anymore. Like, I know when I'm making an attack that's going to be good or not, you know?
No, exactly. Like, because even if you rolled 10 dice and got 1 hit, that is 10 times better than rolling 10 dice and getting no hits, you know? So, yeah, I completely agree. So I'm going off of way old experience, way old data with Ashes. So I might have to give this one another shot, especially with the solo co-op mode. That might be.
I mean, Ascendancy is a pretty cheap jumping in point to see if you like it or not.
And is that where they're going from here on out? Is Ascendancy?
Correct, yes. They're going to build like more bosses off the Ascendancy model, which the bosses are very similar to the Red Rains bosses, but a little different and a little bit more straightforward for better or worse.
Okay. And does it come with characters to play as well? Is it these two?
So you can kind of see it there, the purple and green dice. You get 2 whole characters. Both decks are really cool and fun. 1 boss and like all the dice you need for those 2 characters.
Okay, cool.
So you can't really do any like much deck construction, but again, I don't anyway. Like the
I
2.
probably, yeah.
Yeah. And the boss has multiple like difficulties, so yeah, it's cool.
Nice. Yeah, I'll have to check this one out. And then I'll send you an email and be like, dude, I hate it. It still sucks. No.
I mean, you'll be like $25 out. Who cares?
That's true.
Or maybe it's 35. I don't know. It's not like I'm telling you to buy, like Kingdoms Forlorn for $400. God, it's terrible.
Oh, this is awful. All right. That was your number 6. Number 5.
No, that was my number 5.
That was your number 5. Sorry. Yeah, I'm on number 5. My number 5. We're here. It's on the list. A lot of people of my channel who were, fans of it years and years ago, would be surprised, but I've had a recent change of heart. Kingdom Death Monster. Like I've done now. I had it at a 7, but technically the Gambler's Chest, which was like their newest big box release, completely changed my opinion on this game. Kingdom Death Monster does not shy away from it being a random, unbalanced nightmare. Like, there's so many broken builds that you can get. Gambler's Chest doesn't even fix that either. But with the new stuff, they made it feel less punishing. There were a lot of really cool elements that were added that can carry over from characters to characters, because one thing about this game that is different from literally all the other boss battlers and campaign games is your heroes can die. You can have insanely broken characters that are like, this is awesome, we one-shot bosses, and then they could just die off of bad diet. And that could be vomit-inducing. But the Gambler's Chest basically kind of made it to where you leveled up quicker, you got stronger quicker, it was less punishing, it was just so much more fun. Now, I mean, the boss fights of this are just, they're so creative. It's such a cool system of having the boss body part deck, of having that crit element. Let's see if I can. I mean, this game is like very old at this point. Also 2015. But if I can find literally any picture on on one of their boss cards. Anyway, the boss body part cards, whenever you're attacking them, have like a potential crit value. Now, the way Kingdom Death Monster does it is you roll a die, you have a luck stat that actually increases the range of your crits. So, like, if you have luck 6, that means you will crit on a 3 or higher. The really cool element of how you fight these bosses with that grid system of your equipment can come out with really cool abilities. You get fighting arts, you get all these abilities for your fighters. It's just, it does a lot of things right. And the campaigns that you have for this game, where you, like, there's different settings and stuff that have different rules, those are a lot better than your original Lanterns of Death campaign, which is like the OG campaign. So it's just gotten so much better over the years. Trying to find the Gambler's Chest. Right. Not there. All right, cool. Why is... Oh, okay, cool. I guess I didn't have the apostrophe. Why is BGG case sensitive? I'll never understand that. like it almost feels like it's fan made, and they're like, no, we need to be that strict. Well, it doesn't matter anyway. There's barely any pictures. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what to say about Kingdom Death Monster that hasn't already been said. It held the market of boss battlers for so long until I feel like ATO came out, or another one.
Well, if we're defining boss battlers the way we are in this video, then it didn't. There's been tons of boss battlers before, not tons, but several boss battlers before it for years. But yes, with the way that a lot of people think of boss battlers as like big miniature boss battler things, it is granddaddy, and it's awesome.
Right. But yeah, like it's so swingy, but this is one of those games that, like, I always forget the type of storytelling it is, but it's the one where you, as the players, are telling the story. There is
emergent, I think people call that usually.
Emergent
storytelling.
Yeah. Which I go back and forth on which one I enjoy. Like, because I feel like a story that's being told to you, like ATO, is written extremely well. It's awesome. But I talk about these experiences, like, to other people. Like, I literally made a character last time, because I went through the Gambler's Chest campaign when my friend got it. I was like, you know what? I'm going to use a whip the whole time, because they typically suck as like an actual weapon. And I named him Whippy Bobby. And that was like, and he was actually really good. He got really high level, and a whip is so crucial in like the hunt phase. So every time that the whip came in clutch, I was like, best weapon in the game. But you talk about those experiences more so than you actually talk about what happened in cycle 3 of ATO, you know? So I don't know. I go back and forth on which type of experience I like. But yeah, the bosses in this game are awesomely designed. The lore, when you can find it, is awesome. So, and no other game lets you chop off lion nuts. So,
That is true.
so I mean,
And hey, if everyone wants to have the same fun Seth is having, where the gambler chest fixes the game for you, you only need to spend $2,000 or so for all the stuff.
oh,
More, 3,000. How much is it?
uh, it's well, the gamblers.
I mean, at this point, I'm talking about. I guess if you wait for the sales he has every once in a while, maybe.
Yeah, their Black Friday sale you can hop in on. I mean, it's not cheap. I can tell you that much. It's like $400-$500 to get just the gambler's chest.
Yeah, that's something.
But
Yeah, this game is way back on my list. I like ATO, Kingdoms Forlorn. I like all those way better than this, and also it's a lot. Those are not cheap games either, but it's a lot cheaper to get more content with those games. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Nope.
Like base game of KDM, you can play through all 15 Lantern years, and it's great fun. But really, it's like when you get the Gambler's Chest and other expansions that you're not just fighting the White Lion 50 times in a row. You get a lot more cool variety.
Yeah, and I'm lucky enough that my friend who is in pretty much all my campaign games, he is all in on this one. So
well, there you go. That's great. And that means he builds the minis too, because I hate
exactly. He paints them too, minis. And I mean, I'm a little concerned that he's like real sweaty after he's got done painting with female miniatures, but I'm like, hey, let's play the game. Why is my dude wet? Whatever. But I get
it all comes back around to the pinups and the special.
He has them, dude. And I'm like, you have a. Like, why are they framed? No, I'm kidding. They're not. But no, he has literally every mini for this game, and has a chest tote of sprues that he has to put together. And I'm like,
he has to, obviously.
Yeah. So I guess that's a pro or con. You have to assemble minis for this.
Yes. For me, it's a complete con. But if you like painting and like really high quality minis, then it could be.
Yeah. I thought it was therapeutic putting the minis together, but it was never something I was like, oh boy, like, I can't wait.
But I mean, did you build the Phoenix though with like 50 penis miniatures coming off of it? Like that thing, I didn't even build it. My friend built it, and I was like, I'm sorry, bro.
Yeah, some of them are just so bad. It's like strands of hair that you have to put on little tiny ants that go into the butthole of the Phoenix. It's like, all right, this was a design decision.
Yeah.
But I could not have kept that monster on the boss battler list. So this would have been like maybe 10 or 11 if I had only played the original, but because I did play the game.
Okay. And I did only play the original for what it's worth. So cool.
It's my number 5.
My number 4, you already mentioned, it's Leviathan Wilds again.
Nice.
And yeah, I won't go too deep. You said a lot of it. I love this one. Again, I might not have put it on the list if you had not mentioned it, but I think it's a boss battler. It's pretty dang clear. Love the variety of characters. Love the variety of. You didn't go into the variety of Leviathans as much, but even like in the base game, I mean, what, it's like freaking 20? Is that what it is in the original base game?
14,
something like that, or 14? Is that? Yeah, I mean, it's a ton. And then Deep Veil had some awesome ones, and they just get wild. Like you're going underwater, you're in a windstorm where up and down are switching, and yes, I am a huge fan of Shadow of the Colossus and like Eco before it. I played the heck out of those games, so the theme is totally vibing with me. So Leviathan Wilds is awesome. My number 4.
You might be right. I think it is 20 in the base game.
Yeah, I thought it was 20 in the original because I think I feel like when I recorded the water one, unless that was in Deep Veil, but I think that was in the original. I think
the water one was 19. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Now I will say, like, some of the bosses are a little fiddly. Like Deep Veil has one where you're constantly flipping these cards. That is so, like, while not like a terrible design, they're not all bangers, but I mean, they're still really good. But it could also just be player preference of whether the mechanic of a boss vibes with you or not. Or whether or not your combination of climber and class are good for that particular boss. So Yeah, I agree with you here. It's obviously on my list, and I love it. Okay. My number 4 is actually another crossover, kind of. You mentioned the second one of this, uh, and that is Aeon's End. So years and years ago, whenever I hated Kingdom Death Monster, I did a top 10 games that are better than Kingdom Death Monster. Uh, Needless to say, I got a shit ton of backlash for that. I don't even know if it's still on the channel. But I mentioned Aeon's End, and they're like, Aeon's End isn't a boss battler. I'm like, that's literally all you do. Like,
I mean, you do fight minions too, but it's 100% boss battle.
yeah, in like, it's like there's no.
And again, it's why when I did that video 3 years ago, and why like some people are gonna look at this list and be like, "What the heck?" If you define boss battler as a game that is KDM or inspired by KDM, you have to be on a map, you have to have miniatures, you have to be moving among squares, you know, like then yes, a lot of things are boss battlers, but that's also absurd. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's like that almost feels like it's gatekeeping, where it's like no other yeah, I have KDM, nothing else can be like anything remotely different from this. It's like, okay, well, have a
Right. If
by
you
yourself.
play a ranking of KDM likes, it's like 7 games to date. You know what I mean? So it's not
Exactly.
that much to rank.
Yeah. So I mean, with the inclusion of all this, the genre has opened up significantly. Then you get to look back on the game that came out in 2016 and be like, oh, yeah, this was kind of ahead of its time. Or it's like, well, you don't roll dice or anything. Thank God. Like, you can deck build and fight a boss. And Aeon's End, I think, is still one of the best ones out there because every single boss, and there's a ton in this game. Like, this is the boss, this is the base game, but they have so many expansions, so many standalone, 2 legacy games, 2 like 4 or 5 standalone expansions that you can just buy individually. Like, and the bosses, I don't know how they're doing it still, where they come out and they're like, they just feel radically different from one another. The sheer amount of cards you can throw into the market, you almost need a randomizer app to do it.
Well, I will say I don't think the market cards are very unique in a lot of cases at all.
Oh, you don't?
It'll
I
be
think they're really cool.
well, it depends. Like for the relics or whatever they're called, yes. Or artifacts. I forget. I'm getting
Yeah.
Astronauts and Aeons and confused. But like the spells, dude, come on. The spells, it's like do 2 damage. Do 2 damage and draw a card. Do 3 damage and add a charge. Okay, do 4 damage and add a charge. Do 4 damage and discard a card. Like there's not that many.
I don't know.
ways to-
I mean, I could be reductive about ashes as well if I wanted to be like, oh, this card just lets you do a damage to a minion. Okay, that's cool. Like, I mean, you could be reductive all you want. There's thousands
I mean,
of market cards.
I'm not saying Ashes is the pinnacle. Like certain Magic has way more. Like
I mean, Dominion, the one of the best deck builders out there.
Dominion does a billion more varied things than Aeon's End. Aeon's End, I contend, has a terrible market in terms of variety and diversity. But
I don't know.
we're not talking about that right now.
But still, one of the best things about Aeon's End is the fact that you never have to shuffle your deck. That's always been like a really cool element that no one has ever done before. No one has copied that idea to throw in to a deck builder. But this game alone, because I used to hate deck builders way back in the day, because I hated the idea of buying something and waiting forever to get to use it. This game, 1, because it's cooperative, and 2, because you get to seed your deck. So it's like, cool, now I'm going to get it whenever I want it. Just kind of changed my opinion on deck builders, and now I love them. So yeah, like varied bosses. Unfortunately, like I said, tons of standalone expansions, so the barrier to entry is it's not hard, but like if you're actually trying to follow the story, it's kind of weird in what order you need to play them. The story,
like Legacy Season 1, which I think is a pretty weak entry. Honestly, my favorite starting off points are what is it, Outcasts and the 2 that added the Expedition mode, because I love the Expedition
Outcasts and New Age.
Yes, that sounds right.
Yeah.
But you're right that those are like jumping in the middle of the story if you like play through the first time where they kind of have you unlocking stuff, so it's a little awkward.
Yeah, and in the Legacy Aeon's, and this is going to be weird, Aeon's End Legacy, is kind of when the legacy genre was kind of dying. So it was like, okay, this is pretty weak. Then Legacy of Gravehold,
Right.
significantly better. um, but that's also kind of like a prequel. No, which one was it? It was the most recent one, Descent.
Yeah. I didn't think Legacy of Gradle was a prequel, but the one that came
No.
after was like a sort of restart. I did a preview for that. I forget what it was called.
Yes, this one. Because I went through this
Yeah.
one. This has an expedition kind of mode as well, where you fight bosses in a sequential order. This kind of, I feel like, is like the founding of Gravehold or something. There was a story moment that I was like, oh, and I actually went back and I was showing my girlfriend. I'm like, this is like the character that they're talking about. Like, this is what he turns into later on.
Yeah.
Which is, I guess, good storytelling whenever you're going outside of the game to show, hey, this is what's happening.
I mean, I think it's good storytelling if you're the kind of person who like watches Marvel movies and is excited that they just threw a random character in another Marvel movie, which is not me. I find the diffusion of the story very distracting and annoying personally.
That's fair. Yeah, if you're, and I do like Marvel. Well, Marvel Endgame. Pretty much everything after Endgame, I'm just like, this is not it. Like,
Yes, I'm mostly the same.
well, it was funny because I was watching. I think it was the trailer to Thunderbolts. This was whenever before the movie came out, because it was. I think it showcased whenever we were watching Deadpool and Wolverine, and I was like, you have to watch like 5 shows and 5 movies to know who the hell these people are. That's rough. So this story is not necessarily that extreme, but it is kind of all over the place. Now, someone actually either commented or I found it on BGG. They did put the order of what.
Oh, that's cool.
I'm like, okay, so I mean, to be fair though, after all this, the writing is not that good for you to go out of your way to follow it, like what we're saying.
Yeah, I was about to say, I don't play these games for the story.
No. It's a fun addition to get into a new box set, but it's definitely not something that's like, this is peak board game, right? It's serviceable, but a lot of people like a lot of writing, wear their heart on their sleeve, like say exactly what they're feeling. It's like very on the nose kind of writing. Not the worst, not the best. But it is also a lot, and there's no audio narration. So buckle up and read a lot of teenagers talking about their feelings.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's all beside the point. The boss fights in this game are absolutely very discredit anything Mike says. I think the market cards are fine. They're fun. It's all in service of defeating the bosses. So that's my number 4.
All right. My number 3 has also been mentioned already. That's where I put Boss Fighters QR.
It's not your number 1?
No, I mean,
Same.
even number 3, I think, could be recency bias. Although, I don't know, it's hard to claim recency bias when I played it like 20 or 30 times already. Actually, probably more than, I'm definitely 25 to 30 or somewhere up there.
Wow.
It's like one of my most played games of last year, even though I only got it in like November. Because I played it solo a ton. I played it with my kids. Every single boss released multiple times. I played it with my main gaming group a ton, with my wife. Just backing up everything Seth said. It's awesome. The app works really well. I just literally posted a review, like I think the day or yesterday from this recording.
Or this morning.
Yeah, so it's awesome. Like the real, like Seth, you haven't even gotten to this too much. The game gets so dang good around I guess with the dragon. When you unlock your class powers and you unlock your hero powers, it is such a new level of tactical goodness. And everyone hears me say I'm playing with my kids. I'm playing with my kids on the easiest level. We still lose a lot. When you get to the later bosses, and there are just so many options for your actions and how you play your cards and using items, and the bosses do so many crazy things. It is a meaty boss experience. And you really have to You know, maybe more than any game on this list for either of us, I would say, you really have to know the bosses and know their tricks. I mean, you get that in like KDM and Leviathan Wilds and stuff too, but it's awesome here. So yeah, it's great. So just backing up what Steph said, number 3.
Yep. My only minor complaint on this one is it's not a campaign, but it's campaign adjacent. Where, because I was like 3 bosses in with my girlfriend, and I was going to show this to a couple friends of mine. And I'm like, well, I kind of can't because we've unlocked cards that are in our deck, so I'd have to deconstruct those to play with other people. I didn't think that needed to be in here, to be honest. Don't get me wrong, I like unlocking cards, and it's definitely a lot better than the way, God, I hope this isn't on your list. It's gonna be, though. Kinfire Chronicles does it. But that's actually a campaign game that you're locked in with other people for.
Well, to be fair, just to push back a little bit, as somebody who's played it all the way through, for some bosses, you'll want to like take cards out of your deck and put cards back in and stuff. Like it's really supposed to be more of a mini deck construction each time,
Sure,
and not like you just keep the same cards every time you play.
Right.
And from that mindset, it's really not very hard at all to pull out the 1 and 2 and 3 star card you have, put in the base game cards, and jump in with somebody new. I've done it 3 or 4 times with new groups.
And they do have a sheet that literally tells you how to reset it.
Oh, but also everything is labeled with stars and stuff. I mean, the only time you really have to like reset it, where you're actually unlocking stuff is if you're giving it to somebody else. Like if I'm playing with another group, I'm just like, all right, now we have 1-star stuff. Now we have 2-star stuff. It's pretty straightforward, I think.
I didn't recognize that they had different stars on them.
Yeah. Everything is labeled. You don't have to look at the reset sheet. That's just to kind of help you out.
Gotcha. Well, there we go. Anyway, I ended up not showing it. And one, we didn't have time to actually play it, but I was kind of like, well, am I gonna have to break the decks down that we've been building?
Yeah.
So either way, yeah, absolutely banger. This would be higher if I had gotten further. But that Dragon Boss was actually really cool. All right, my number 3 has also been mentioned by you, and that is Oathsworn.
Nice.
So, yeah, I absolutely love this game. In the process of getting everything professionally painted for it.
Ooh.
They're sex. They are so good. Like, and I'm like, I want to replay this campaign because now the minis are painted. It is, I mean, it's one of the best boss battler experiences out there. The writing is amazing as well, but that experience of going through the story mode to be like, what are we going to fight next? Like, and it always being a pleasant surprise was just such an awesome experience that you don't get anywhere else. For better or for worse, like I already mentioned, on replay, you don't get that same experience. But that battle.
I mean, I don't know what your life is, man. I'm not replaying Oathsworn ever. You know what I mean?
Well, I also don't have a bunch of previews coming in that I have to play. Even though you don't charge, people, or you're not obligated to get that out of it.
Oh, right, yeah, sure.
It's like, oh, they paid me $800. I got to get a positive review out. Like, I theoretically could just sit down and restart this. But at the same time, I have now conditioned my brain to not want to do campaign games if it's not for the channel. So that's not healthy. But that's kind of how it is, where it's like, I want to get this game so I can get it on the channel. Am I ever going to play it again? No. I actually started doing that with Euro games, where like my buddy let me borrow Merv, IR, and Senkore, and I was just for reviews. I'm like, I will never own these games. I'm like, you buy them. But Oathsworn is a phenomenon. The battle flow system is so unique. More games need to do cooldown systems because it's such a cool element. And yeah, the characters are varied, really cool level up system. The other unique thing about the boss fights is kind of the aftermath, where your weapons break. You are always changing your items, which is completely different from anything that you've seen before. But then you go straight to the next level of item. So they do a lot of really innovative things with this. And yeah, Jamie, I think it was Jamie or someone who works with Shadowboard commented on my final discussion video and talked about how they're definitely going to be doing more. They just want to take their time with a game as, finite as Oathsworn was. So I'm like,
That's gigantic.
so yeah, I'm like, hey, I don't care how long it takes, like, because I'd rather the game come out and be good than just come out and then be like, oh yay, more Oathsworn stuff, and it's just a shell of its full self. So that's my number 3, Oathsworn.
All right. Well, I've got something new for my number 2 and something quite different, and this is Bullet.
Okay, man, it was either this one or Boss Fighters QR that I thought was the weird one. So now I have no.
Yeah, I mean, this is up there with my top games of all time. Like, it's probably in the number 3 or number 4 slot. It's a competitive, like, pattern game. So this is certainly somebody who's like, Boss Battlers are only Kingdom Death Monster. I don't know what they're going to think.
They might have a stroke.
That's right. But, you are directly... So it's, it's kind of based on the old game, Super Puzzle Fighter Turbo 2 Ultra, whatever the heck it was called, the video game.
I only know this style of game from the old Pokemon Puzzle League on the Nintendo 64.
Oh. I also think Dr. Mario has this kind of thing. Like,
yeah. We're like, it's like blocks and stuff come down. And
like stuff coming down, you're trying to make patterns and shoot them back over at the other person. Yeah. So, like that is an odd fighting, I guess, but you're definitely attacking them, and the bosses are super unique. They each have their own special rules and conditions. They have special effects when you look at the right board, the Mecha Mary over there. They have special things that happen when you remove their shields. They're activating, and the activation is super interesting because, and well, this is how it works for most bosses, but not all. They require you to make a pattern on your board for no offensive benefit, just to defend against whatever their attack is about to be. So, like, you have to be constantly considering the way they're going to attack you while also doing your own stuff. And the characters are insanely diverse, and they just keep on going. Like the big cube, like, sword solution crowdfunding is finally shipping soon, I think. And
Bullet Cubed. I bet that as well.
Yeah, I think once all that delivers, there will be like 36 heroes, and every hero has a boss side. So it's just insane variety and like modularity and matchups.
It used to be just really sexy anime characters, but now they have one where it's like animals, like Bullet Paw, I think is like
Bullet Paw is like all cat themed,
or
and there's like a frog character, kind of like Frog from Chrono Trigger, and like one, I think, the upcoming set. So they go in pretty weird places.
So
and yes, apparently it's all the anime art. I do love anime art a lot of the time. But yeah, I mean, just love this one, and it's great. I do like it best for solo, but co-op works great too. It's just for people who might look into it. It's a co-op game where you play simultaneously, and you can help each other, but you're kind of doing your own thing, which can be better or worse depending on the group. It certainly keeps the game flowing smoothly and keeps the plays quick. But like, I might not notice the awesome thing you did because I'm doing something awesome on my own board.
Right. Yeah. The only time so this was on my list for sure. And as I was considering it, I have not played the solo as much as you have, maybe like a handful of times. But I was like, no, the solo is very good and it's unique, but I didn't put it on my list because I knew you were going to talk about it. I'm like, all right, I'll pick something else to throw on here because it's certainly going to be on Mike's list. But yeah, the really awesome thing is that puzzle element of the bullets that are coming down, and the fact that every playable character is also an enemy that you can fight against is just adds a ton of variety to this one. Yeah. Do you like this game competitive?
Oh, it's great. It's just, it can be mean. You can feel mean. Like if you're awesome, send 50 bullets over at you and you die immediately.
Yeah, it's like good luck.
Yeah, it's like, ha, so that's not something I play often. Although my son, my favorite game of all time and my son's favorite games is Exceed, which is also from Level 99. It is also a head-to-head beat the crap out of each other games. So
Yeah.
no, they've liked Bullet. And I think the last time I played, my son beat me, and he's like, "I'm never playing you again." So yeah,
Undefeated.
competitive is great. It's just like the solo co-op is so good that I don't
Yeah.
need to play it. But no, I mean it's one of those games. Most games that offer all those modes don't work that well, and this one is great with everyone.
Yeah. No, I agree with you there. I just can't wait for the storage solution, which I assume may be done after that. Kind of like what they did with BattleCon. They're like, all right, here's the storage.
No, because the storage thing is supposed to hold more than what they currently have, and I think they've already announced preliminary fan 2 and like palette or paw 2 or something like that. So
Gotcha. Okay. Dang.
Just goes
Cool.
forever.
Level 99, like they're an under the radar company, I think. Like I love BattleCon.
if you vibe with them, there's
Yeah.
nobody better. Like they're my even more than Chip Theory, which I adore, like even more than a few other ones. They are the company that has made the most games that are absolute favorites of mine. But there are other people that would like maybe 0 of their games,
That's true. Like, I mean, Bullet, BattleCon, and oh god, there's another one that I'm totally drawing a blank on. Because I'm not a fan of Exceed, but Spooktacular I really like.
Spooktacular is fun.
I want them to support that one more too. So,
I don't know how well it did, but it was definitely ripe for like more monsters and a new map and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I completely agree. And they're pretty good about supporting their games. So, only time will tell. Pixel Tactics was the other one that I was thinking of.
Oh, I always liked that one okay, but it was hard to get people to play with me. So I am so hyped for the solo mode that's coming.
Yeah, and then I mean they have some weird ones though, like Sakura Arms, I think is another one, and then
well, Sakura Arms they just distributed in the US like a new print.
Oh, okay, that was a Japanese time.
Yeah. Millennium Blades is a game I love from them.
Yes,
Millennium completely insane, but it's a great game.
That's true. Yeah, they're innovative. So they kind of have that video game adjacent kind of feel without it actually being a video game IP that the Glass Cannon Unplugged is like perfect of adapting video games into board games. They're kind of unique in their own way. So good choice. My number 2 is definitely the newest game that has come out, but I absolutely love it. I don't know if you've covered it, actually.
Newer than Boss Fighters? What is
Well, actually, no, you're right. Boss Fighters did actually just come out like a month ago.
Yeah, like it's just been available in some stores like this month.
Yeah, because I got it. Yeah, you're right. So, not as new as Boss Fighters, I guess, but it's pretty damn close, and that is Grim Coven.
Well, you know why I have not played this one.
Yeah, because you hate good games. No, but
that's one take on it.
No, because you don't do it.
But I've heard. Well, actually, I've heard pretty mixed things about the gameplay. Some people love it, some people hate it in our Discord.
Interesting.
A lot of people with the difficulty. I know, like it was way too hard in the previews, and they didn't walk it back enough for some people. It sounds like. Hey, I'm yucking your yum. Tell us why it's awesome for
too. Everyone that's followed, because I've done a review on this one. Everyone who's commented on my video has loved it. I think one, because it's not a campaign game, it's very Bloodborne adjacent, and I love Bloodborne. But so it's just pick a boss and fight against it, and it has a ton of different effects. Yeah, this is one of those games that has minions and stuff that gets thrown in, but they're more there to just injure you. So in terms of the difficulty, I think that is based off of player count in my experience. It feels like 2 players, you can either get swarmed or you can do, depending on how you build your characters, it feels way more balanced with less players. Because when I play this with 4, and you just ramp up so high in levels that the boss just can't really compensate.
Yeah, I mean that's a pretty common thing. Like Too Many Bones had that problem too.
Exactly. So I really like this game at 2, and just the sheer amount of uniqueness in this game, I just love the way your characters work. I thought I was going to have a problem with the dice system, being like you roll dice and that's how you determine your actions. But it has such an awesome, like, kind of death may die take, where as you level up in corruption, you get stronger. That's how you get your character's unique evolution cards, which you can either turn into more dice, which means you get more actions to do, or you turn them into unique abilities that you put dice on. And every single character is so varied from one another, that with how many evolution cards they have, you're not going to get that many out. So you just play the same character over and over and keep leveling up in different ways. The bosses, while again, there's not a ton of bosses, they all have different levels of increasing difficulty and increasing effects. So I'm just completely enamored with this one. You can definitely tell it's an Awakened Realms game by the AI art. No, I'm kidding. But they have that effect of like spots on the map have like those search cards that you see in like Tainted Grail or Eyes of Vanguard or what was that I just played by them that had that similar
Dragon Eclipse.
Dragon Eclipse, things like that, where you go to a specific spot and you can interact with an effect on the map. The different types of terrain have effects that allow you to just maneuver around this map and defeat the boss. It just does everything, in my opinion, it does everything right for me in a boss battler. That I've just been, I mean, it's shot all the way up to number 2, and it's one of the newest games. Just because I really love the flow of the way the boss interacts. Because I mean, what's really cool is they have this whole boss map that after all the players go, it's like, okay, now you have an event phase, then a minion phase, then there's an elite phase, then the boss goes, and then he will level up and he'll do something that's unique. So, and with all the bosses being as varied as they are, and that they can level up, after you beat level 1, it's like, okay, now we're going to fight level 2. You just have an insane epic boss fight. So theme works, the way that the characters work with their level up system, the whole bosses being varied, and the fact that it's not a campaign game where I can just set up a boss to fight and then yeehaw out of there. It just does a whole lot for me. So of course, this just came out, but I'm hoping Awakened Realms does more with this IP.
I mean, usually, did they not have like 50 expansions and giant boxes with the initial crowdfunding campaign?
They did not. No, there was like 2 expansions that came with 2 bosses and 2 characters.
That is a nice amount of restraint. There's
it
not,
really was.
there's not like shipment 2 and shipment 3 that aren't designed yet. They're going to come in like 4 hours.
No, there's not. Yeah. Oh, Stalker. That's the one from them that came out around.
Oh, yes. Good.
Yeah, Stalker had that same element of like go to like overlay cards that you could interact with. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Play by them. Yeah. So no, surprisingly not. This is actually very self-contained. It must have been designed by like their D team or something.
I mean, it sounds like one I would enjoy if I ever play it, which I probably won't. Cool.
Well, you'll just have to come over sometime. There you drive 15 hours. We'll hang on for a while.
All right. Well, my number 1, it might be rated. Like if I'm talking about my favorite games of all time, it might be rated a little bit lower than Bullet, like lower, like higher, I guess, like not as well rated.
Okay.
But if I'm talking about purely boss battler stuff, which Bullet is like tangentially, Sentinels of the Multiverse Full Edition is my number 1. Yeah, so I mean, yeah, and again, the definitive edition, not the more older edition, is definitely the way to go. I'm very happy, with the whole kerfluffle. I'm sure you heard about it. Where Greater Than Games like laid everybody off, and and it was like unclear whether anything would happen like with their games. And this is after I had already pledged for Disparition or whatever the third one was called after Rook City in the base game. It's apparently shipping soon. Like they said, they locked in my address. I'm getting the third one soon. But yeah, this is the bosses are crazy varied. And kind of like what you said for Townsfolk Tussle, they even go one step further, especially in the definitive edition, because besides each boss being super unique and having their own entire deck and all their own entire mechanics, they have all of these scenarios and like challenge modes and stuff where, you know, like you'll use the same deck, but it's used in a totally different way. Like the most basic version of that is Baron Blade, like the very first boss you fight. You can play with the Mad Bomber mode, where suddenly, like, he won't play half his cards. They become bombs that do, like, this other effect. So just insane variety. Even better, I would say, than things like Aeon's End and all that kind of stuff. But then on top of that, you have the modularity that sounds like it's similar to Grim Coven or similar to Street Masters. You know, Street Masters was inspired by this largely, where you can mix and match any boss with any environment. And then every hero plays like super duper differently. Like Wraith is basically Batman. And yeah, this for me is the best DC game ever made, the best Marvel game ever made, because it doesn't have the IP, but I think the way the characters play and like the uniqueness that comes out of them is even better than something like Marvel Champions or Legendary or any of those kind of things. So yeah, this is a great game. You know, a few caveats. If you're going to play it solo, you probably want to, you got to control at least 3 heroes. If you're going to play it 2-player, you got to double hand each, or like there are some variants online to have like sort of a third helper hero that you share. So it is a little awkward for certain player counts. And also like, it's kind of famous for having a lot of effects to track. Sounds similar to what you said for Grim Coven, where like, now you got a minion turn, and now you got a champion turn, and now you got a boss turn. Here it's like, now you got to resolve all the boss cards. Then you resolve a new boss effect. Then you resolve the environment turn. So similar kind of stuff. But once you get over that hump, and Definitive Edition makes that stuff cleaner than it's ever been. Okay. Yeah, it's just like nothing else does this. And it's my favorite game to like jump in one off and play an incredibly unique boss with incredibly unique heroes on my side and just have a friggin' blast. I cannot wait for my new stuff that I paid for forever ago to deliver.
I completely forgot about that Greater Than Games mass layoff.
Oh my God, man.
I remember Spirit Island was affected, and I was like, oh, well, that's probably enough.
Yeah, like Spirit Island I have enough of. Sentinels is a little different because I had owned the original, like, everything for it, like all the expansions. But then I love Definitive Edition so much, I got rid of my entire original set.
Oh, okay.
And literally my son really likes the game, but he played mostly the old version, and he'll ask me for heroes that are coming in this new set. He's like, hey, can I play that robot guy again? And I'm like, well, no, it's a story, buddy. Sorry.
Down on one knee, hand on the shoulder. Listen, son.
Yeah, man.
Your
So,
mother and I don't have it. It didn't come in.
That's right.
The company was laid off.
Yeah. So
All right.
Anyway, so I'm very happy, and yeah, looking forward to playing more.
I have played Sentinels of the Multiverse like once.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I have like no dog in this fight. But I had heard from people who had played it a lot, you know, that it can be very mathy, like a lot of stuff to keep track of.
Absolutely. Definitely not for everyone.
Yeah, some better or for worse. I know some people don't like it for that, but I mean, if it's a boss battler, then, and I mean, that's what the Freedom 5 game is. It's based off of this universe.
Yeah, I still never played that one because that's more like Defenders of the Realm, right? Or like pandemic-ish kind of thing.
Yeah. Not, I mean, it definitely has the bones of Defenders of the Realm, but man, you barely see it in that one. So if you love this universe, I would highly recommend checking out Freedom 5. All right. But yeah, so cool. Good pick. Well, my number one is also not going to come as any surprise. Because it was my number one in our top 10 campaign game.
Oh, I don't remember.
Come on. It's Aeon.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Like,
very good.
And I am actually kind of, you know, / Kingdoms Forlorn. Because they are.
Yeah, I actually, in one version of my list, I had Kingdoms Forlorn. I did take it out just because it's got squad battles where there is no boss.
Yeah.
I don't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I take the way Kingdoms Forlorn does mob battles as, I mean, Dark Souls has mob bosses.
Right. I wouldn't count Dark Souls as a like pure boss batter either. I would count it as like the other, like the Madaras, where like sometimes you battle people and sometimes you battle bosses. You know
Oh,
what I mean?
see, interesting. Yeah, because I would have definitely.
Because the majority of your time in Dark Souls is grinding through rooms with mobs. It
I
is not
guess
fighting a
so.
boss.
Yeah, but the whole point of it is to level up to fight the
Oh,
boss.
absolutely, absolutely.
I just don't think Dark Souls, the board game, is a good game.
It's not a good game. You notice it's not on my list. Even if it had been a boss battler, it probably wouldn't be at the back.
Yeah, exactly. Even though the boss fights are the best part of it, and
The boss fights are, yes, agree with everything you're saying right now.
Monster Hunter is also up there. Primal was also considered a little bit, but I just kind of didn't really like Primal that much.
Yeah, I like parts of it. I bounced off a bit. I
Yeah.
got annoyed keeping track of all the stuff the boss was doing.
Exactly. So, anyway, all that has to be said, Aeon Trespass Odyssey is easily my number one. And you might be thinking, well, isn't it based off of Kingdom Death Monster? Why is it so, why is it number one and KDF was 5? And the reason is because there's way more mitigation. It's a cleaner, tighter boss fight. You don't ever have swings of like, oh, this boss is a joke. And that inverted paradigm system that they included where when you are taking damage, you get stronger. When the boss is taking damage, they get stronger. So the bot or the boss fight the entire time just keeps ramping up. And unlike King of Death Monster, where if you're already strong and you keep wounding the boss, then it's just going to get weaker. And it's like, okay, we can really put it out of its misery now. There's never
Which is probably more realistic, but that's
it
fine.
is, yeah. Like, which I mean, don't get me wrong, KDM's on the list. I do have a good time. It can feel really fun to walk in and just wipe the floor with a boss and be like, "Ooh, all right, let's take its carcass back and make some, make some leather." But here, just there's never a moment where you're like not about to get, rot for fighting against an enemy you've already fought before. So it's that system alone that is, and the mitigation, the fate system of like, you don't have to live with the result of just sitting there and be like, oh, well, I rolled a 2. It's like, oh, I'm going to take up my fate and re-roll these dice. But knowing full well that the higher your fate is, the more likely that an enemy's attack is actually going to affect you even more. So that double-edged sword system. I think the enemies in this game are extremely creative and varied. While there's not a ton you fight in any given cycle, you don't fight them so often because, again, you're doing a lot of stuff in between each fight that you're not like, oh, fighting the Hecaton again. It's like you are doing that, but it's like you fight it like 4 or 5 times a session versus the White Lion 30 times. So, yeah, like, and I think Kingdom's Forlorn did a worse job with loot in how you get it, but its loot was more creative. Like a sword in Kingdom's Forlorn does a lot more shit. It almost feels like cycle 4 stuff.
Whereas ATO and KDM, it's like stuff barely matters until you really get into later tiers,
Exactly. So it's like, I mean, Kingdom's Forlorn, they actually just released a big update on like all the stuff that they were fixing in Wave 2. And it sounds because most people's feedback in the Discord for that game were like, the loot system sucks. You fight one boss and you already know everything that they can give you. Like, and sometimes it's like 4 cards and you're like, all right, well, these all are bad. I guess I'll pick none of these, and you fight it again.
Yep.
No,
and that happened to me many times.
Yeah, it's brutal. But the boss fights in Kingdom's Forlorn themselves are still really good. Like, I love the system. And I do think the mob fights are done really well in Kingdom's Forlorn. Like, you'd expect it to be a mess, but they made them sometimes more fun than the single boss. But I've talked about ATO at length many, many times, but it was easily my number one because of just that intensity of the boss fights themselves and that tried and true system. So that's it. Mike, do you have any closing statements?
Well, here, I made a little list. You want to hear it real quick?
Yeah, go for it.
So I took all the games that both of us had, because I had like Bullets and Sentinels and a few things you didn't have, and you had Final Girl and Grim Coven.
Yep.
And I did a combined ranking. You ready?
Go for it.
All right. So number 9, Townsfolk Tussle.
Okay.
Number 8. Now some of these are not on like my top 10, but they were like up higher in my like top 20. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Number 8 is Marvel Champions.
Nice.
7 is KDM. 6 is One Hit Heroes.
Okay.
Tied for 4th is ATO and Oathsworn. I think those are in pretty good company with each other.
Yeah.
Tied for 2nd is Aeon's End and Boss Fighters QR.
Okay.
And then the game that both of us ranked combined the highest is Leviathan Wilds. So I guess that's our number 1 together.
Oh, you're talking about like the rankings on BGG?
Yeah. Like both of us had
okay.
it ranked closer to number 1.
Cool. Yeah, that is interesting. In doing things like that, because it's like, I know people now that I do this BGG format, and they see, I think Grim Coven was, or which one? There was one that's like an 8, but then I had a 10 that was like one behind it or something. And it's like, well, how, why is the 10 not higher? It's because all 10s aren't created equal. I have a 10. I think Men at Work is a 10 out of 10 dexterity game, but it's not like, I'm not like, oh, it's the same as ATO. That's why whenever you see rankings, it's like, take it with a grain of salt, because there's a lot of factors that go into
Yeah.
that. Because clearly Leviathan Wilds, even though it's our highest ranking combined, didn't make it into number 1.
Right, for either of us.
For either, yeah, exactly. So, but this list was hard. Like every matchup, I was like, oh, I love both of these games.
It was also hard because, to be fair, they are drastically different games a lot of the time. Like, how do I compare this little like card game, or something like Bullets to like Aeon Trespass Odyssey?
Exactly.
They have such different scope and weights and just like all that stuff.
Yeah, and experience. I mean, that's why I had to make it to where it's like, how do the boss fights feel?
Yeah, that's a good way to do it.
And the intensity of a boss fight is what I'm looking for. It's like, do I get the same feeling of fighting a boss in ATO as I do playing Elden Ring? And I feel like, yeah, like you have a lot more of those yes moments in games like ATO versus Leviathan Wilds. You're not
sure
play this. All right, that's kind of how I rank them a little bit. More or less, but yeah, this one was still a fun list to make.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm sure we'll piss some people off who disagree with our definition and our choices.
Well, you know what? I just delete those comments anyway. Anyway, I'm moving on with my life. So, but yeah, that's it, everyone. That is our top 10 boss battlers. Let us know what you think of these games in the comments below, and what are some of your favorite boss battlers as well. Mike, thank you so much for joining me once again. I'll have to make up some other arbitrary list so we can do another one. Keep this relationship going.
I know, man. You've kind of exhausted your like main wheelhouse, right?
That's all I got. I mean, can't do Euros. You don't play Euros.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I don't like Euros enough to do random list of Seth's friends' Euros that he borrowed.
Too cheap to buy myself. No, there's no shortage of ideas. I'm sure I'll come up with something. But just in case anyone who is watching this video doesn't know who you are, if you want to do a plug on where they can find you.
Sure, yeah. I have the One Stop Co-op Shop podcast, One Stop Co-op Shop YouTube channel. We cover solo and cooperative games. And we also have a Discord. Lots of fun to go and talk over there if you want.
Nice. All right, everyone. Thank you so much. Like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever type of day it is for you.